Welcome to the Blonde Runner podcast with Coach Laura Erickson, where she shares her healthy living tips as a running and triathlon coach and mother of 4.
Hi friends, it's Coach Laura, and as promised, I wanted to talk about heat training. So the first thing I want to point out is if you can avoid the heat, that's the best thing. We're in the dog days of summer, so it's mid-July right now, and it's hot. It gets pretty hot. Today, I think it got up to 95. I think we're going to see over 100-degree temperatures this week. So if you can avoid the heat at all, like go early in the morning or go late in the evening after the sun goes down, maybe take lights with you, then those are the times I would suggest. But I do think it's important to get some heat, some training in the heat if you're going to be racing in the heat. So here's some things that you can do. One of the first things you want to do is to go into your workout well hydrated. One of the big secrets, things I talk about a lot, is electrolyte tablets. Salt Stick is one of my favorite brands. I actually take these capsules usually before I do a hot hike or run or a long cycling workout. I'll take several of these before. There are these kind, and then there's also kind that has caffeine in it. Sometimes I'll use that towards the end, but I usually don't want to take something like that before. It is a diuretic, so you don't want to lose moisture. You want to go into it with good old water and then electrolyte tablets. That really helps a lot. You also want to bring things that allow you to drink throughout. So there are a lot of different things that you could use for that. For me, particularly when I do trail running, I like to take a vest like this, and it actually has a water bladder, and then I remember to sip throughout a lot better than getting bottles out or anything like that. So this works really well for me. I will recommend that as a black one, and I do use that a lot, but I usually wear lighter colors. I highly recommend wearing lighter colors. Obviously, that won't absorb as much of the sun, so that will keep you cooler as well. There are all kinds of vests. This one's a lighter color, which I really like. This one has the 2 bottles in the side. Again, it's that sippy straw, which makes it really easy. Another good idea is some people like hip waist belts, and these have 2 bottles. You can carry your phone and other things that you might need. That's really good. I always carry with me electrolyte tablets as well. These are called Fast Chews, so if you're having any cramping, you can take these, and then that will take care of it. Actually, they have tons of several different flavors. My favorite right now is the coconut one. Yeah, so good. Like pina colada. I love it. And then another bottle too is a handheld. Even on short runs, even a 3-mile run in the heat, I will take my handheld bottle and sip it throughout. It just keeps me hydrated all the time. You just don't want to get yourself in a state of dehydration. Another bottle that I like to take, especially on hiking and things, is a filter bottle. This way, I stuff it in my backpack, and if I bring water, but it's really hot, or maybe I'm with someone that didn't bring it, that's happened a lot. I always bring extra tablets and stuff, but then I'll give them some of my water, but then I have something to refill. This is a filter bottle, so I can put moving water in it. You could do that, and then it will filter as you drink it. So that's a really good bottle. And then another tip that I like to tell you about, I forgot to get this out, is if it is hot and you're by a stream, one of the things that I always like to have with me is generally, I don't really run in hats like this as much as these kind of hats. Notice how it's white. That's a really good thing. And it's a really light hat. So I can dip this in some moving water if I'm buying any moving water, put that on my head. It cools me off. Visors are good too. I particularly like the white, though. I think if you have dark hair, my hair is light, so I don't get as much, as hot even with the visor. But if you have dark hair, I highly recommend wearing a white hat. That'll help. I often will bring buffs like this with me as well, and I can dip this in water or put water on it before I even go, and then I can use that, and that's really great. Another thing that I stuff, what's nice about these backpacks, you can stuff all kind of stuff in it. So I like to use these Clean Freak wipes. I don't know about you, but once I've been out there a while, my face just gets it's just covered in salt. And sometimes if you get that in your eye, it can be really annoying. So a lot of times I'll bring these and just clean my face. And it feels good because you feel clean, it smells good, and then it cools off your skin. And it cleans it so it can cool anymore. So that's good to do. So I did want to talk about heat stroke and kind of the signs to avoid. Obviously, if you ever have had heat stroke or you know of somebody that has, it's pretty serious. You can die from it. So understanding the signs, I took a wilderness first aid class and I really enjoyed it because it's good to know those things when you're out and about and you're with other people, understanding, the signs and how you can prevent it. Prevention is always a good thing. But if you're out there hiking with someone and they're getting overheated, usually first thing you'll see is a heat rash of some sort. A lot of the next thing you'll see is sunburn. Really it's important to look up the trail that you're going to be on or wherever you're going to be at. Are you exposed? Are there trees you can go under, or is it completely in the sun and you're not going to have any shade at all? So figure that out before. Obviously know the way. A lot of people get in trouble when they don't know the way or they get lost. Always bring more than you need with water, because it's better to have it and not need it than to not have it. I don't know if you've ever been on a run where you're just so thirsty. I know I haven't before. So it's better to take more than you need. Again, so you'll see maybe they'll have heat rash, and then they'll get that sunburn. Some of the other signs that you'll see, and I will be posting these, you'll be able to see it. If you're on my Instagram, I will put this as at the end of this so you can see. But it talks about the different signs and what you're looking for. Basically, if you're with somebody that's tending to get irritable, that's usually a good sign that they're starting to get overheated. Headache is one of the first things you'll see. Sometimes they start getting dizzy, and then when they start just not making sense, then you know they've really gone into heat exhaustion. You need to stop. You need to get them in a cool spot. If you're by a little creek or something like that, take their shoes off, get their feet in the creek. Definitely make sure that you don't want that core temperature to go high. And what's interesting is some of the records, American records that we have for long distance running are done in the cool temperatures. So that's a good indication that obviously heat will affect your performance. So it is important to kind of keep that course temperature down. And you can do that by allowing yourself to cool off with water, splashing it. A lot of times I bring extra water too, so I can splash it on myself. One of the things that I do in the summer is I bring a little squirt bottle of water like this, and I just spray it. And so that prevents me from having to cool myself with my sweat. I can actually cool myself with a spray bottle. We'll recommend that as a black one. And I do use that a lot, but I usually wear lighter colors. I highly recommend wearing lighter colors. Obviously that won't. If you have run across somebody that is experiencing heat exhaustion, then it is good. This is another good reason to bring a buff or a neck gaiter that you can cool them off with. And again, having that extra fluid will really help. You want to loosen or remove any clothing, anything to expose skin to help them cool. Of course, being in the shade is really good. Having them lay down, obviously not continuing to exert. Another thing that's really important is to take your cell phone with you. And I usually bring a little extra charger. I actually have one that is solar, so that's really nice. And I will always have, sometimes you're somewhere where you don't have, you can't call someone. You're not where you have any signal. And so it's really important to kind of know how you can handle this situation. If you are, another little fun tip is I like to bring myself like frozen one of these, frozen water, and I will actually use my neck gaiter and I put it around it. And then when I carry it, it doesn't freeze my hand off, but it melts as I go. And so it's really cold as I'm running along. I actually have a little strap that I use that puts it on my hand. So it works really well. And then that way I have something really cold, which I love. Another thing that I like to have when I get back home, and sometimes I'll take this and I'll use it frozen too, is the Her Hydration. The coconut lime flavor is spectacular. So look, I already drank almost all of it there. I just went on a hike. So that's just some tips, some things that I like to do. If you have any other comments or anything that you want to share, feel free to share them down in the comments. If you're listening to this on Spotify, then check it out on Instagram on Healthy Living Podcast and make comments there. And until next time, live well.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Healthy Living Podcast. Be sure and check the show notes for resources or links that we mentioned in the show. You can also find them on my website at blonderunner.com. BLONDERUNNER.com. You can also find me on Instagram at The Blonde Runner with an E and Coach Laura Erickson, and that's LORA. Before you forget, I hope that you will follow this podcast and like it so you don't miss an episode. Also, it really helps if you leave a review so other people can find it, and share it with your friends. Until next time, live well.